Hi guys, for those of you that are new to following me, then welcome. For those of you that already follow me on Instagram and have followed me over onto YouTube, welcome back. This is a very special reading dedicated to the new moon in Capricorn, which we will be experiencing between Tuesday the 12th of January and Wednesday the 13th of January 2021, depending on where you're located in the world. Now, in my opinion, this is going to be one of the most significant new moons of this year, simply because of the energy that it's bringing. And I'm going to be discussing not only what we can expect from this new moon, but also how we can focus or harness this energy and use it for our highest vibrational good. Now, I do want to talk about last year's energy, and I do want to talk about the stellium that we experienced last year, January. So around this time last year, January, I believe it was either the 12th or the 13th, there was a stellium that was formed between Saturn and Pluto. Now that energy is being revisited again this year. So Saturn is the planet of limitations, boundaries, restrictions. It represents law, it represents government. And when we look at the energy that Pluto is bringing, Pluto is the planet that deals with transformation. So it's about death and rebirth. So these two planets, when they come together, represents massive change, serious structural changes. So Saturn is the element that deals with like earth, so it deals with all things to do with physical or tangible changes. So when we're seeing Saturn and Pluto come together, that represents structures being changed, institutions being changed. Now, because Pluto represents the element of water, which governs all things to do with our emotions and our intuition, Pluto not only has that energy of transformation, but it also has that energy in which it likes to uncover mysteries and it reveals truth. So what we saw from that stellium last year in January was literally the energy of Pluto and Saturn coming together, and Pluto helping Saturn to almost dismantle the old structures in preparation for the new structures. The whole of last year, 2020, was designed for us to be able to connect to the truth, to see the truth, to live our truth, to embody the truth. Now, all of the changes that we will experience throughout this year are going to have an extremely long-lasting effect, which is one of the reasons why 2021 is a beautiful year for bringing in all of the things that you've always wanted and all of the things that you always desired. It's really a year for you to prepare yourself and push yourself forward into the environments that you want to be in, the lifestyle that you want to be in, the career that you want to embody. Now, the first aspect that I want to discuss is the sun and moon are both conjunct at 23 degrees in Capricorn. Now, when we look at the number 23, if we add 2 and 3 together, it gives us the number of 5. Now, 5 is a really significant number within numerology because it deals with our personal freedom. It deals with adventure. It deals with transformation, but it's also a number that represents being courageous and being bold. So therefore, from the sun and the moon both being at 23 degrees, this is really the time for you to make any changes towards what it is that you desire. Now, Capricorn is the 10th house ruler, and the 10th house deals with our public life, it deals with our career, and it deals with our achievements. So this represents a focus towards your goals, making changes to work towards your dream role or your dream business or whatever your dream earnings are. The sun represents ourself and it represents our goals, and the moon represents our emotions. So both the sun and the moon both being conjunct in the sign of Capricorn, the emphasis and the focus is on our goals and our dreams and our aims and our ambitions. Now, the sun and the moon are both known as luminaries because they provide illumination. The sun provides the light during the day and the moon provides the light during the dark or during the night. Now, with the Sun representing our conscious mind, the things that we are aware of. The moon represents our subconscious mind. Now, what's really interesting is that Capricorn, in terms of zodiac signs, represents both the physical and the spiritual. The water goat, the goat represents the material and the physical, and the water element, the fact that the goat emerges from the sea, represents the spiritual. So this literally is the energy of manifestation. So anything that you are working towards at this particular time is going to be materialized. Now, Capricorn, or 10th house energy, also represents the law. It represents administration. So it's all to do with what is legal and also what may be political. So therefore, with this particular aspect, we can expect significant changes with I would say the two to 3 weeks following this new moon. We can expect significant changes within laws or policies, or even within certain governments. So what I'm also seeing with this particular aspect is that there is an emphasis on changes. There is an emphasis on changing laws. There is an emphasis on changing governmental structures or institutions within government, simply because of the fact that the sun and moon are not only conjunct each other, but they're also forming a conjunction with Pluto. Now, Pluto is the energy that deals with our subconscious mind, and it deals with things such as secrets and intimacy and transformation. So with this Plutonian energy, it's going to amplify both the sun and the moon, which is going to mean that there will be an intensification of emotions. So this is going to be quite significant, because what we can expect is that this is going to highlight particular changes that needs to be made. So on an individual scale, it may represent that our beliefs and our goals are going to be changing towards possibly how we interact or see or view our government or government structures or political structures. But on a collective scale, I do feel that it's going to highlight the need for social justice and also freedom from beliefs or systems or institutions that heavily restrict us, because this really is a year about us coming into more freedom. Now, the last aspect that I want to talk about, because there is quite a few aspects, because this is a really significant new moon, is Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn that are forming a stellium in Aquarius. Now, when we look at Mercury, mercurial energy deals with our lower mind. It's our thoughts, it is our intellect, it is how we learn. Mercury deals with the element of air, so therefore Mercury in Aquarius is going to be a really significant aspect for ideas. This energy, when it's combined, the element of air from Aquarius, but the element of air from Mercury, represents visionary inventions. I'm seeing new technology being formed, and this is a way in which we are transcending outdated and conventional ideas to be replaced with new ideas, inventive ideas, pioneering ideas. Possibly this may even suggest that there's going to be some new and emerging technology that we will be using, or some people will be creating new technology to be able to deal with the way in which we are living right now. Now, Jupiter in Aquarius is a really interesting aspect, simply because of the fact that Jupiter is the planet of fortune and it's also the planet of luck. So it deals with expansion. So when Jupiter and Aquarius come together, it's an expansion of our consciousness. It's an expansion of our thoughts because we are focusing on the bigger picture. It's also about us really focusing on our beliefs and what we believe in, because Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, which deals with our belief system. But Jupiter is also pushing us towards expanding the way in which we are able to earn money. So if we gather certain ideas from this placement, it's going to be ideas that are going to help us to, increase our wealth or increase our finances. So it may be really poignant at this time with both Mercury and Jupiter being in Aquarius to write down any ideas that you have and try to create practical steps in order to bring those ideas into fruition. Now, the fact that we've also got Saturn in Aquarius is really interesting, simply because of the fact that Aquarius represents the new, Saturn represents the old. Saturn represents boundaries and restrictions. Aquarius represents freedom from restrictions. So what we're seeing here is that there is a massive change with Saturn moving into Aquarius. It means that there is a big change in the way in which we are able to focus on our ideas around our career goals and around our success. It means that we have been given an opportunity, and I want to emphasize this, we have been given an opportunity that whatever changes we bring in terms of any types of ideas, inventions, or visions that we have, with Saturn being placed in Aquarius, this is likely to not only bring success, but also bring changes that are long lasting, which is really beautiful. The last aspect that I want to talk about is Mars in Taurus and also Uranus in Taurus. Now, Mars was previously in its home sign of Aries. And when we're looking at Mars, we're dealing with the element of fire. So when we're dealing with the element of fire, we're dealing with passion. We're talking about action. We're being very assertive in what we're doing. So Mars represents not only our will, but it represents our identity, and it represents the goals and the desires that we have. When Mars moved into Taurus, it represents the energy, the sort of fast-paced energy that Mars would normally have being in Aries, slowing down a little bit. Now, Mars being in Taurus is interesting simply because Taurus is the second house ruler. So what we're focusing on now, the goal or the focus with Mars being in Taurus, is to do with finances. Now, we've got one element that deals with fire, which is Mars, and then we've got the other element that deals with Earth, which is Taurus. So this represents the fact that there is going to be a change, but this is going to be a fast change because Mars in Taurus is going to sort of push Taurus out of its comfort zone a little bit and make any sort of processes a lot faster, because Mars comes with the energy of speed, whereas Taurus is a little bit more fixed and rigid. Now, Uranus is also in Taurus, which is really interesting. Now, Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius, so this represents invention, pioneering, and change. What I'm seeing from these placements, these aspects, I should say, is that there is going to be a massive change in finances. There is going to be a focus in finances for us on an individual scale, but on a global scale, I definitely see that any type of physical or tangible currency that we had before is going to be gone. I do feel that there is going to be more of a focus on electronic currencies and sort of removals of sort of physical currency. So I don't necessarily feel like we're going to be continuing to have physical money, or even maybe even using credit cards or debit cards. I feel like these types of systems are going to be replaced with something new, something more innovative. And the reason why I believe that this may happen is simply because of the time that we're in right now. We are all at home, most of us. We are definitely in a time where our freedom is being restricted. So therefore, there's going to be new technologies or new ways of doing things to be able to cope. So I definitely feel that there'll be a focus on a new currency, electronic currencies, and possibly we're seeing the phasing out of physical money. So I hope that my forecast has helped. I definitely feel like I'm going to pull a few cards to give you some advice to close out this reading. So I'm using the Angels of Abundance to be able to pull out the main messages in terms of what we need to do to be able to focus and harness this energy of this new moon in Capricorn. So we've got the Windfall of Abundance card. Beautiful. We have God is your source. We have raise or promotion. And we also have pay yourself first. So I am going to expand on these messages. Bottom of the deck, we've got take a divinely guided chance. Now is really the time for you to be able to focus on anything that you've ever wanted to do in terms of your career or with regards to a business. The energy here is really supporting us for us to be able to move beyond any kind of comfort zones that we've had. It's about doing things new, doing things differently, really going out there with a desire to be successful and really putting together some practical steps in order to bring about the types of outcomes that we want. Now, what I'm seeing with the Windfall of Abundance is that there is definitely this energy of abundance that is in the air, that is in the atmosphere, that's in the cosmos, that we can tap into. And we, in order to be open to receiving it, we need to work with the energies that are coming towards us. Now, between now and Aquarius season, there is going to be an inundated amount of ideas that you may feel. Start to write those ideas down in a journal. Use those ideas to be able to propel yourself forward and start to use your ideas and create practical steps to be able to make them come true. Because anything that you manage to, work towards this year is going to be supported, and some of the ideas that you're going to be coming up with are going to be ones that are going to give you a windfall of abundance. So that represents an inundated amount of money that you can potentially make this year from these ideas. So this is absolutely beautiful. What I'm also seeing, which suggests that this is going to be a really expansive time of growth and acceleration within our desires, is God is your source. So this is about understanding that you are being supported. Anything that you want, you can achieve, you can acquire. We are moving in faith and moving away from the energy of fear in order to pursue the things that give us the most amount of happiness, joy, and success. And I will also say that when you are creating your vision board, maybe you might be journaling, or you might just have an idea of something that you want to bring into fruition. Understand that everything that you do, as long as you do what it is that you love, will always be able to grow and to thrive and to flourish. But it first starts with you focusing on your passion, understanding that the universe is abundant, and understanding that anything that you do is going to be supported, and believing that. Now, for some of you that are already within an institution in which you are employed, I definitely feel like there's this energy of a raise or promotion. For some of you, this represents being able to move into a new position within an organization or within a hierarchical structure within an organization, or potentially being able to gain more money. So this is absolutely beautiful. It says an increase in your abundance flow awaits you. So there is definitely this energy of abundance and being able to tap into that abundance, especially with Jupiter being in Aquarius. So keep focusing on what it is that you want. Keep going. Don't give up. Don't feel disheartened. Just be patient and understand that the seeds that you plant during this time are going to thrive and flourish. And by the time you look at the end of 2021, what you would have achieved compared to what you've started off with in the beginning of this year is going to be beyond what you even imagined. Next card and final card is pay yourself first. So it says make sure that you are, focusing on your own financial obligations, making sure that once, you have enough to be able to pay your bills, set money aside. Saving is going to be extremely important during this year. And I definitely feel like this card is highlighting or emphasizing the fact that there is a need for saving. So if you haven't started to save, start saving. Find ways in which you can save money, and the money that you would usually spend on other things, put that into a separate account that you're not going to be touching, so that you have a little nest egg. And if you are sort of creating your own business and you are making additional money that you didn't bank on, save that money, because you may need to use that money later on to invest in something else in order to grow or expand your business. But saving is extremely important during this year. Now, I hope that this has helped. I hope that this has resonated, and I wish you all a very, very happy new moon in Capricorn. Take care. Bye.